It's story time, baby. I'm going to talk about how I got into motorcycles. Let's go, baby! So many moons ago, many moons ago, after the grand pandemic and the war zone extravaganza, I think it was just after we were allowed to go back to work. So lockdown finished. We were allowed to mingle around with our friends and family again. And while we were still playing Warzone in that time, me and Shay, you may know as Mini Jixer Boy, we oh, what is it? Potholes everywhere. Yeah, so we were playing Warzone, and he mentioned about doing a CBT, and me and him don't have car licenses. We don't drive cars. And I remember saying something, this is how naive I was, because I had no interest in bikes whatsoever. And I remember him saying, oh yeah, I might do a CBT and get a 125. And I was like, yeah, but you don't have a car or anything, so how can you get a motorbike? And he said, oh, it's quite simple. You do like a day course and you're allowed to ride a 125 with L plates on. And I was like, okay, I'm going to look into this, because that sounds like something I'd quite like to do. And then I looked into it and realised it was 140 quid at the time, and for the company I went with, £140 to do the CBT. And I was looking at bikes, seeing roughly how much they were, and I found a Keyway Superlight 125 for like 2,200. So okay, this isn't too bad. Then with my with my ADHD, when I want to research something I'm interested in, I will go over and beyond to like just go mental on it. So I'm looking at videos online, looking at how to ride a motorbike, how the gearing system works, and I eventually pulled the trigger. And where it was just after lockdown, obviously money's a bit tight for most people, but I had some crypto that was stocked up. So what I did is I drew out enough money to buy the bike from the crypto and for the actual CBT, and then I ended up ringing up a place, booking the CBT, and then ringing around a few dealerships to see who had the bike available, and found a place in Poole that had one of the bikes available. So I cashed out on my stocks or my crypto and bought the bike. And then the matey said, oh, we can do delivery on a few days, here's your options. And I was like, oh my god, one of the delivery days is the same day as my CBT. And I was like, oh, that's pretty much perfect. So they said, when's your CBT? And I said, it is at 11 AM. And it's usually for about 4 hours, 5 hours. So I knew that I'd have enough time left to actually have a little play on it. And so he said, right, we can either deliver it later in the day or earlier in the morning before you go. What do you reckon? And I said, oh, how early can you deliver it from Poole? And he said, oh, about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I was like, yeah, man, perfect. So the bike came, and I'm ecstatic. But bearing in mind, I've never touched a motorbike before, like an actual proper bike. When I was a kid, I had a go on a Yamaha PW50, a little Pee-wee. Fucking hell, this is a nightmare, isn't it? And so that was my whole experience with the bike. That was a little twist and go, and I was probably about 6, 7. So a fair few years went by. But yeah, so they delivered the bike, and they delivered it about 100 meters from my house. And so he went, yeah, here's your bike, here's the keys, here's how it works, off you go, really. So because I didn't know how it worked, I had to wheel it to my house. I put it in the driveway, and obviously I'm very excited. I've got a motorbike. I get on it, and my mum's obviously taking pictures of me on it because she's excited as well. So I sat on it, and I've turned it on, and I'm playing with all the switches and stuff, learning what's where and all of that lot. And I thought, oh, I'm gonna like start it up, have a go. And bear in mind, never touched the bike before. So what I've done is I've pulled the clutch in, because the YouTube videos has taught me what's where and all that stuff. But just keep in mind, watching a YouTube video doesn't teach you everything about bikes. So I sat on it, I pulled the clutch in, I started the bike, I put it in first gear, and I remember seeing a video about feathering the clutch to get the bike moving. So I've stalled it, and I'm trying to start it again, and it won't start, and I'm like, oh yeah, pull the clutch in. No, not starting. So I've instantly thought I've broke the bike, and then I had to get ready to go do my CBT, done all of that, and then when I got home I realised why it wouldn't start is because it's got one of those thingies, when it's in gear it doesn't start even if you pull the clutch in. Same with this bike, if it's in the gear, for some reason it won't start. But I thought I broke the bike, turns out no, put it in neutral. But I didn't know all of this, because I was literally that green, that new to it, that I had no idea what I was doing. So when I came back from my CBT, obviously all excited, jumping on the bike, I know what to do roughly now, and so I get on it, and the council estate where I lived when I lived at my mum's, it's sort of like a big circuit. So I thought, oh, I'll just go in a big circle, see what happens. Every time, and I mean every time, I got to like a junction or whatnot where I needed to stop and give way, every time I stalled. And I was just going around like, oh, for fuck's sake, when am I going to get this? And because I didn't really stall too much on the CBT, or on the actual course. And so I was like, what's up with this bike? I don't know what's happening. So I went round a couple of times, got used to it, and I said to myself, right, where I work, I used to cycle my push bike there. And I thought, okay, I'll ride the bike in a couple of days a week, the push bike, and I'll ride the motorbike in. Oh no, as soon as I got the motorbike, that push bike never saw the light of day ever again. And it's still at my mum's house now, and I no longer live there. But where I used to ride it to work, it was always the same route, and I'd go like the safe way where I didn't have to do too many like stops in the road, because I was terrified of stalling it all the time. But once I got used to riding to work and learnt a little bit more on the bike, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to conquer roundabouts now, because any time I'd go to my mate's house, which is up the road a little bit, like a 5-10 minute ride away. This is Shay I'm talking about, because he was doing his CBT a couple of weeks after mine. So I'd go to his house, and there's one roundabout to his house, and all I need to do is stay in the left-hand lane of the roundabout and pretty much go straight across it. But I was terrified of going on the inside lane of a roundabout and turning right. I'd done it on the CBT fine, but I was terrified of it. And so I'd go the safe way. So I'd go to his house using the outside lane, but on the way back I would need to use the inside lane, because it's not technically like straight over, it's like a little bit to the side. But so on the way back I'd need to use the inside lane, so I didn't do that. What I'd do is I'd go through an industrial estate a complete different way to get to that same roundabout, so then I could stay in the outside lane, because for some reason I was terrified of it. But I was sick of it one day at work. I was like, I need to shake this. I need to get over this stupid little fear of of the inside lane of a roundabout. So what I did, there's a long stretch of road with a roundabout that side and a roundabout the other side, And so what I did, more horses, what I did was play on that, go up it on the inside lane of the roundabout, go back on myself, back the other way, inside lane again, all the way around. And I'd done that about 4 or 5 times, and I thought to myself, what the fuck was I playing at? Why was I terrified of that? And then ever since that, I was fine. And that is how I got into motorcycles, and a little bit about my first time riding. And then the addiction just grew from there. And then you end up getting a bigger bike and having more fun. And then what do you do after this? Do you get an even bigger bike because you've got a full license now? Maybe. Or do you go for something different where you can just be a hooligan everywhere? Who knows? Who knows? Next year, fingers crossed, we might be getting a bigger bike. I don't know though, because I love this so much and I don't want to get rid of it. So who knows, I might end up having 2. Leave your suggestions in the comments what you think I should get or what you'd like to see. But that's it. Thank you for watching. That's the story on how I got into motorcycles. If you like little story time videos like this, then let me know in the comments if you want more of them. I've got plenty of random things, like how we once, when we were younger, sold fake weed to someone on 2 different occasions. The same person, they fell for it. I've got weird random stories. If you wanna if you wanna hear them, let me know. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.